We'd like to thank you all for coming tonight and letting us pretend like we're still underground alternative rock pub stars.
There's t-shirts for sale.
Do you know how much money we have?
Talk to Me is often referred to as Nirvana's hit song that never was. It's a well-crafted, catchy pop song that the band would only play 6 times live, with no existing soundboard audio known to exist. The best we have is a relatively clean bootleg from an audience member on November 17, 1991. It was a surprise then when on August 8, 2023, a YouTube account by the name of Frederick Cobain posted an alleged 16-second recording of Talk to Me recorded in a studio setting. The description just reads, 1994. The account joined YouTube the day the clip was posted and has no other videos. This audio sounds convincing, the voice definitely sounds like Kurt, and the guitar tone is more or less what you'd expect from a 1994 studio demo from Kurt. Some people were quick to point out that there were no drums or bass present, leading them to question why the studio quality recording would lack Dave or Chris. But there is a potential answer to this discrepancy. In March of 1994, a month before Kurt's death, Courtney and Kurt's friends would stage an intervention for him. This did not go well. Kurt was deeply hurt and angered by what he felt was an ambush by those closest to him. Afterwards, Kurt said he just wanted to play guitar a while, and took Pat Smear with him down into the basement where the two jammed. Ernie Bailey, Kurt's guitar tech, confirms that recorded jams took place with Pat in the last 2 weeks of Kurt's life. No substantial information about these sessions have surfaced, but one of the songs they were rumored to have worked on was Talk to Me. If this 16-second clip is real, it's most likely from the March 1994 post-intervention session with Pat. This would explain the lack of drums and bass, and in the clip we can hear 2 guitars playing in tandem, which would be Kurt and Pat playing together. But let's look at the other side for a minute. If it were real, why would Frederick only upload 16 seconds of it? Why not put up the whole thing at that point? Whether the goal is to share the music or to gain views and clicks, surely uploading the full thing would be better. It's a lot easier to fake 16 seconds than it is to fake a whole 3+ minute recording. So I wanted to get to the bottom of this. I figure that the most likely way this would have been faked is with an AI voice filter. For just a few dollars, you can gain access to a handful of different AI models trained on Kurt's voice, and run your own voice, or the voice of another singer, through it. One thing these models don't correct for, however, is pronunciation and inflection. The distinct speaking or singing style of the original vocalist will be present, so in order to fake Kurt's voice convincingly, you would need to start with the vocalist who can do a pretty damn good impression of him and his many distinct vocal quirks. What would be far easier to do than find a master impressionist is to just use Kurt's own voice. There are 6 available recordings of him singing the song, and surely with AI stem separation, you could just take one of his isolated vocal performances, then record your own guitar over it. One issue that technique will have that this clip does not have, is that it will have audio artifacts from the isolation process. But what if someone were to combine the 2 techniques? My main theory was that the person who made this isolated a known live vocal take of Talk to Me, artifacts and all, but then ran it through an AI model trained on Kurt's voice, which output a clean, studio-sounding take of the vocals. I've experimented myself with this process before, and it can clean up a low-quality vocal take quite well. So to test my theory, I isolated the vocals from every known take of Talk to Me, then found the matching part, the second pre-chorus, and lined them up with Frederick's clip to see if they match. What I found was interesting, and far less of a smoking gun than I was expecting, but I did find something. Here's Frederick's vocals compared to the live takes. This first one is too muddy to make out any words, and the timing doesn't match up. This was even more so the case for the second one. In fact, it was the case for almost all of them. The live recordings were just too low quality to make out any of Kurt's words. Any AI trained on these examples would output complete gibberish. But there is one take that was relatively clear, the November 17th take. An important thing to listen for here is the lyrics and if they match up. It's hard to make out exactly what he's saying in Frederick's clip, but it sounds something like,
Little of the brown makes a metal hell. I will well, I never will. Towering on my heart, painted on my heart, painted on the walls of joy.
Some takes have similar vowel sounds to when he says hell, but the only one that lines up phonetically with the lyrics of Frederick's version is November 17th. But when I lined up the vocal takes together, they didn't match. The timing was off.
Little of the band makes a metal hell. I will
Then I considered that a forger could have time stretched the vocals slightly, so I tried that.
Little of the band makes a metal hell. I will
It's close, but the vocals still don't match exactly. But it was so close. I figured there was one more thing a forger could have done to cover their tracks. They could have sliced up the phrases and slightly shifted their timing. So I sliced up the audio and rearranged a few phrases to match Frederick's, and this was the result.
Little of the band makes a metal hell. I will
That sounds pretty near identical. Like I said, it's not a smoking gun. In fact, it's a bit of a long shot. But the syllables in the lyrics line up so perfectly that it could be time warped with something more advanced like Ableton. However, cleaning up the vocals into the take we hear in Frederick's video, even with AI, would require tools that are probably way above my price range. So what's the conclusion? The more I look into this, the less I understand about it. If it's fake, it's a very good one, either trained off or based off the November 17th take as the lyrics line up. If it's real, I just spent hours chasing geese. But hey, that's kind of my whole thing. So what do you think?